You are tuned to The Leading Edge with Sent, the pulse of cricket podcast. I'm Sent. Every week we bring you the stories, insights, and moments that drive this beautiful game. From the grassroots to the global stage, women's cricket, youth cricket, club heroes, and the stars lighting up international arenas. We've got it all. Welcome to The Leading Edge with Sent at Roundly Podcast Studios. It's another week. I hope you actually had a good 2 weeks, I think, from the last time we actually recorded. But yeah, life is life, man. Cricket is cricket. A lot of cricket is happening. Proteas have been playing. Proteas Women have been actually currently playing a series against Pakistan, but it's more like a warm-up series. SAA has been dueling with New Zealand. They first dueled in the ODI one-day matches, and then now I think it's the 4-day competition. So that one is also interesting. But for this week, we'll talk very much little about the Proteas, the guys side, and then we concentrate with the Women's World Cup. The fever's coming in, excitement is there. So yeah, but we'll literally talk about that, like the in-depth about South Africa's chances. What do they have? What works? What may not work for them and their opponents? But before we get to the meaty stuff of this episode, let's start with the gents. So they played an ODI series against England. They won that, and we're not going to get into that one. But what interested me to want to talk about, it was actually the T20s. So the T20s, it was 1-1. It was a draw. The third one was abandoned rain, England. It is what it is. So now that team, some would say it's in transition. But also remember the World Cup is happening early next year, literally early next year. So Shukri Conrad, who's obviously the new white ball coach, replacing Rob Walter, has a task of making sure that South Africa actually brings this World Cup home to Africa. So do we have a chance? And I think we do. And the reason why I say that is that I think one thing Shukri is doing is making sure that he's still looking at his team. But there's something about that team that went to England that I liked. It's T20. It's modern day T20. Like, there's Ryan Rickleton, Aiden Markram, who opened, Luandre Pretorius at 3, Dewald Brevis, aka Baby AB. Maybe he has moved from that now. And then you had Tristan Stubbs, and then there is Donovan Ferreira. Now, a lot of people have been advocating for Donovan Ferreira to get into the team, but he has struggled to, I would say, make his mark when he's had the chance in terms of the Proteas side. But I think this time around, he did well for himself. And one of those reasons, I think sometimes in cricket, even in modern day sport, we tend to forget the concept of development, growth, giving someone time to grow and develop and be themselves and even find themselves. Because I remember Heinrich Klaasen talking about this, saying like, yes, he struggled because there were a lot of things and he thought maybe he's not good enough. But he had some talks with one of the former Proteas player, the older Moko, Albi. Yes, he had a talk with Albi Moko. But again, within the SA20, he started to change his mindset as well. And I think that's exactly what has happened to Donovan Ferreira, is that within the CSA T20 challenge, we knew what he could do. You know, we knew his potential. But in the SA20, he took time, because I remember season 1, he didn't actually perform the way that he probably would have wanted to perform. as a finisher, because again, being a finisher, that's a specialist role. I feel someone who's a finisher should just stay as a finisher, because once you take that finisher and they become a middle order batter or top order batter, those are different mindsets. You have a different mindset there. Being a finisher, you just go there and they would say in Cape Town, you donor the ball. So it is what it is. Now you hit the ball. That's it. But there's a skill to it and there's a mentality to it. And I think Donovan Ferreira has it. So this team, I think, has a chance. I think that top 6 is something that has a potential of bringing it to South Africa. And there's only one thing I probably have a problem with. And Luandre Pretorius has been great in the SA20, especially for Power Royals, as an opener. I think he should open. And now the question is, do you put in Ryan Rickleton in there? Do you get Ryan Rickleton at 3? And I say no. And I know in South Africa, we like that whole left-right combination, but sometimes just play your best openers. And I think those 2 guys are our best openers at the top. And I think Aiden Markram should be at 3. Aiden at 3, you have Brevis at 4, you have Stubbs at 5, and you have Donovan Ferreira at 6. And I think one thing that South Africans need to agree on, including the world, not just South Africans now, including the world, because when Hendrik Clausen retired, everyone was like, who's going to replace him? He shouldn't retire. But the truth of the matter is that South Africa has the players. We do. We just needed Donovan Ferreira to grow as a cricketer, especially in the top level, and I think he's done that. The MSL was good for him, including the 100 in England was good for him. And there's Matthew Brisker as well. There's Vian Mulder. So don't forget about those guys as well. And chances are I'm also forgetting someone else. And now the question is, what about David Miller? We could have probably passed the Miller era as well, because these guys are young. They just play the modern day T20 cricket. Coached by someone who's barely 30. Captained by someone who's barely 30, which was Aiden. Still the only South African captain to win something in international level, and took South Africa to the finals of the last T20 World Cup. What another thing about Aiden Markram? Well, he has won the SA20 twice so far, and went to the final 3 times. So in terms of captaincy, I think he has it on lock. I think no one really challenges Aiden. And another thing about that top 6, or like those players that I actually spoke about, is that they've done well in the SA20. You cannot remove the SA20 and say that the South African T20 side is not influenced by the SA20. I think it did play a pivotal role in that sense. So I hope the World Cup comes to South Africa, but we'll see how that works. As I said, I did not want to spend way too much time on the gents, because I will talk about those guys later on in the sense of the SA20, because SA20 auction went and it's gone and people got bought for a lot of money. And much as the owners, the SA20 organizers, the players are happy, I think one happy person is a SARS. I think South African SARS guys are as happy as the players, because South African tax is quite high. But anyways, that's not what we're talking about. We're not into the politics. We now move to the World Cup. So World Cup season is here. 30 September we have the opening match. It's India versus Sri Lanka. Host versus host. Yeah. So, but what I want to talk about is South Africa. So South Africa picked a 15-player squad. And the team goes, Captain Laura, she's an opener. Tazmin Brits, an opener. Likely to field in the deep, likely to field at mid-wicket. She's got a strong arm. Laura, great fielder. You have Anneke Bosch. Now, that's an interesting choice. She was there before the injury. Since the injury, we haven't seen her. Obviously, the coach has seen her at the nets. They had some warm-up matches in Pretoria before they went to Pakistan. She has a potential of being an off spinner, but she's a number 3 for South Africa. Number 3, top order batter or middle order batter. Nondumiso Shangase. Nondumiso has been batting at number 3 for South Africa. She hasn't batted so far in Pakistan in the warm-up matches, but there's not. I don't want to take too much in terms of that Pakistan series. I'll say the positives of it later on. Nondumiso Shangase, off spinner, so she turns the ball in to the right-handers and away to the left-handers. And then, she's likely to bat at 3. I don't see her batting at 4. If she's not at 3, she's probably going to go much lower. And then you have Marizanne Kapp. Do I really have to explain Marizanne Kapp? Okay, cool. Middle order batter and a pacer, opening bowler, basically. That's it. Then there's Suné, former captain. She's likely to bat at 4 or 5, but likely to bat at 5. Off spinner as well. And she's also good with spin. I think very few South Africans actually play spin close or better than Suné. And then you have Chloe Tryon, vice captain of the team. She's a finisher. Again, slow left arm bowler. So she will turn those balls away from the right-handers. And then you have Nadine de Klerk, medium pacer, finisher. I don't see Nadine batting higher up the order. I know she did during the Pakistan series or the current Pakistan series, but again, I think she's going to be a finisher. She's like to bat at 8 or 9. And then there's obviously Dercksen, pacer, more like your enforcer. I don't know if it's actually going to work in India and Sri Lanka, but she is going to be a finisher. She can bat in the middle order. She can bat in the top order. She can even open, but I think she's going to be used as a finisher. And then you have Sinalo Jafta and Karabo Meso. Those two will be competing for their spot, but I think Sinalo Jafta is like to bat at 6 based on what the coach has done previously. And then obviously both of them are wicket keepers. I think Karabo Meso might not get any play time. I know a lot of people won't like what I just said, but I actually don't think Karabo is going to get play time. I think Sinalo will be preferred wicketkeeper. And the fact that coach has been batting at 6, but we'll see. It's hard to predict Mandla's head, but I think as a South African, I think at some point because right now, even with the Pakistan series, he's really holding his cards literally on his chest. He's not showing anything. The only thing we know that's certain, Tazmin Brits, Laura Wolvaardt will be opening the batter. That's the only thing we know. And then move on. There's Masabata Klaas, Ayabonga, Khaka. I think those two may be fighting for position. Unfortunate, but I think that might be the case. Both medium, seam bowlers. And then there's Nondumiso Nonkululeko Mlaba. Nonkululeko Mlaba is going to be the main spinner of the team. So left arm turns those balls away. character as well, And I think she's also a good fielder. I think Nonkululeko Mlaba, like people actually don't get how good she is of a fielder that she is. And then Nondumiso. She's been playing a lot in Pakistan. I don't think she's going to be part of the playing team. I'm just being honest. Utumi is one of my favorite players in the women's side, in women's cricket. She did well in the first match, did okay in the second match, but I really do think if Ayabonga Khaka gets injured, and I think Utumi might have a chance to play in the team. And again, also depends on the pitch. Very good fielder. Outfield, she's that. Those catches she goes for. So in terms of being a fielder, she's a better fielder than Ayabonga Khaka. But Ayabonga Khaka is a senior player in that team. I don't think she won't be in the playing 11. Now, that's the team and their roles. I do believe South Africa has everything figured it out, but we only have one problem. And I will keep saying this. We don't have a wrist spinner. I understand that in South Africa we hardly have any leg spinners and we only have one in Naidu at senior level, or someone who has played for Proteas right now. And before we used to have two wrist spinners in Dane van der Klerk and Suné. But Suné now is an off spinner and Dane is not part of the team at the moment. Does that make South Africa weak? Maybe, when we're playing against teams that play spin quite well. But in terms of covering the spots where we have bowlers that turn balls away from right-handers and we have bowlers that turn balls away from left-handers, we've got that covered. But are they mystery spinners? No. While other top teams do. Australia has two in Georgia Wareham and Alana King. India has. You have Pakistan has one. But I'm not going to concentrate on those two teams. I'm going to concentrate because Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, those teams are expected to have spinners. Those teams are expected to have at least one wrist spinner since they subcontinent teams. New Zealand has a wrist spinner, Amelia Kerr, including England. England are bringing Sarah Glenn. And yeah, people are not happy that Katie Cross is not in the team, but they decided to go with a lot of spinners. Lindsay Smith is there. Sophie Eccleston is in there. And Dean is also there as an off spinner. So England is quite covered, and they even brought pace bowlers that are quite tall. All three of their pace bowlers are actually quite tall. But I'm not here to speak about England. I'm here to speak about South Africa. But I just want to say the one thing that South Africa doesn't have from the teams that are not from the subcontinent is that we don't have a wrist spinner. We have bowlers, as I said, that can turn balls away from the right-handers and away from the left-handers. With that said, this is what I think is going to be our playing 11. The openers, it's going to be the captain and Brits. And then there's a battle between Bosch or Shangase. I'm really not sure what the coach is going to do because Bosch has not played. In the first two warm-up matches that I've seen, Bosch didn't play against Pakistan. So now the question is she fit? And if she's not fit, why is she in the team? Because my producer's favorite player, Faye, is fit. And another player that people don't want to talk about, she actually, in the CPL, she got to the final with the team, with the Team Guyana Warriors, which is Dane. So those two players are fit. So now the question is, why? And some would say, what about Laura Goodell? Again, she's also fit. And she's the only left-handed batter within the Proteas setup. And then at 4, I think is going to be Kapp. 5 is going to be Suné. And the reason Suné will bat at 5, I think she plays spin quite well. So I think in those middle overs, Suné is going to be very important with the sweep shots. Marizanne is also plays spin quite well with an unorthodox batting style. And then I think at 6 is going to be Jafta. I said that and I put in my head there. But I think at 6 is going to be Sinalo Jafta. Why? I think the problem with Sinalo Jafta is consistency, but she likes playing those sweep shots. And I think one thing that coach maybe is looking at is the fact that she played hockey. So, hockey players, they like to sweep. So now going to the subcontinent. And I think one of the finishers, Chloe, I think is going to bat at 7. At 8 is going to be Dercksen. At 9 is going to be Nadine Klerk. Now, Nadine most likely won't like to bat that low. Fans of Dercksen, I don't think they're going to like for her to bat that low. But looking at the composition of the team, there's no other way. And I think with what the coach is trying to do, he wants to finish off matches quite well. So I think those 3, Tryon, Dercksen, Klerk, they're going to be a handful for players. I think they make South Africa strong. They make South Africa strong at the end. So with whatever happens, per se. And then the last 2 players will be Mlaba, obviously. And then I think against England, Ayabonga is going to start over Masabata Klaas. The only way for Masabata Klaas to actually get game time is if Ayabonga does not play well in those first 2 matches. I say this again. The only way Masabata Klaas does start, I could be wrong, but Ayabonga will be the one that's chosen over those. That's a team I feel that makes South Africa quite strong. It can get to a point where maybe Klerk gets dropped and then Masabata is played and then South Africa has another specialist seam bowler. But I wouldn't go that route. But our coach, as I've said, he's quite unpredictable, but I think he's coming into this tournament with an intention not to learn, but with an intention to do well. And doing well is reaching the finals. I don't think he has an intention of reaching the semis. I think he wants to reach the finals, and I think he wants to play attractive cricket. And that 11 that I spoke about do play attractive cricket. And I'm going to say something specific about that attractive cricket. Now, South Africa is currently playing against Pakistan. I've said this. There's not much to take from that series, to be honest, except the 2 openers. And I'm going to say this why. Laura struggled in the first match, got out quite early to spin. In the second match, she played herself in. And I think the goal for that was for her to get her confidence up, play herself in, because she scored 100, but she didn't go ballistic. Not at any point. She was just playing herself in. Brits scored 100 in the first match and 100 in the second match. But how she approached those 2 matches, 2 different ways. In the first match, it was more of she was just playing herself in. In the second match, she increased her scoring rate. So I think the goal there for Brits was to get her confidence up to a point where she actually plays herself in, where she increases her scoring rate, her strike rate for some. As for the captain, Laura, it was about getting her confidence in playing well because she didn't really have a good 100. She hasn't been really great lately, and she's been suspect to spin. And she plays a very important role to South Africa. I think now after she scored that 100 against Pakistan, I think now she has like 9 test hundreds. 9 ODI hundreds for South Africa. Because I think she was on 8 now. She was on 9. Or if she was on 9, then she's on 10. I don't want to confuse that. But again, she is South Africa's greatest ODI batter, with no doubt. Hence, it is important for her to get her confidence up. So I think that's another thing the coach has made sure. It's like for her to play herself in. As for Bosch no Shangase, who would I choose? As I said, I haven't seen much of Bosch lately. She does play spin quite well. She can be aggressive. But no Shangase and I can play spin and she tends to be aggressive. So, I don't know between those two. I would choose Shangase. Maybe it's because I like her as a player. There's no wrong one for the coach to go for, even if the coach goes for Bosch or Shangase. But another reason why I'll go for Shangase is because she has been playing lately and her confidence is still up high. Now, World Cup brings its own pressures and stuff, but I do think I will go for the player that's been playing lately. Kapp, Suné, Jafta, that's the middle order, really. I'm not going to talk about the finishers because I already spoke about that, but I think that's the middle order. Kapp, over the last few years, she's shown that she's the better. Like, she is the world's best. Well, Kapp is the world's best all-rounder. Sorry, Nat Silver, Brunt. Sorry, fans of Elisa Perry, but I think Kapp is the world's best all-rounder. Maybe Titi Sharma can be put there as well, but Kapp is actually the world's best all-rounder, no doubt. And she's still performing at her age. She's opening the bowling. Those two other all-rounders are not opening the bowling. Perry even hardly bowls. So, yeah. Annabelle Sutherland? Nah. Nah. So, South Africa plays England on the 3rd of October. That's a very important match. I think South Africa has to make a statement and win that match. We don't want to be in the back foot because our second match we play against India. Playing India at home. Our third match we're playing Bangladesh. We're supposed to win that match. Now, Bangladesh, I think, has won a match in South Africa recently in the ODI matches. And then we play Sri Lanka after that. Sri Lanka is on the rise, and here's the thing. South Africa has to be able to play spin because we're playing Sri Lanka at home. Sri Lanka in South Africa won that series. So we need to win that match. We don't have a choice if we want to reach the semis. And then it's Pakistan. We have to win that match. So that by the time we play against Australia in our last match, we don't have to win that match to make it to the semis. I don't know if we beat India because that's going to be another hard match. I think India is also a well-oiled team. New Zealand. I forgot about New Zealand. That's our second match actually after England. We have to beat New Zealand. In terms of quality, South Africa has a better quality than New Zealand. I think New Zealand literally relies on team unity, whereas South Africa, we more rely on our talent as well. So, and our star players. So our star players need to really up their game. Do we make the semis? Yes. Do we make the finals? I'm not sure. Who do we likely to play in the semifinals? New Zealand, England, India, Australia. And I've named three opponents I've named four opponents and only three can make it to the semis with South Africa. Who would I rather play in the semis? I'd rather play New Zealand. No disrespect to New Zealand. But I actually want England. I think India will be a hard one to beat in the semifinals. And I also do think Australia is going to be hard to beat. But South Africa can actually beat all those teams. It depends really on, it literally depends on the day and our mindset. And I think if our mindset is right and looking at this team, we got this in the bag for the finals. Do we win the World Cup? Can we win the World Cup? Yes. Do I think we're going to win the World Cup? Now, that's the question for me. In Mandla, we trust. Yes. In Mandla, we trust. Yes, we can win this World Cup. But again, it depends on how he plays his team. It depends on how he plays his team. So yeah, that's it. That's it for me. That's it for me for this episode. I'm putting myself in the line and saying, in Mandla, we believe we can win the World Cup. Laura has a potential of being the first captain to lift a World Cup for South Africa at senior level. I'm speaking as a fan and I'm speaking as a South African. I'm not speaking as a podcaster. I'm not speaking as a journalist. I'm not speaking as a cricket writer, nothing like that. As a fan, bring this home. But my expert view, I think if we reach the final, this will be a successful World Cup, especially for Mandla, because this is where we can take this and move on. And good luck to his backroom staff, and good luck to Laura and the team. Bring it to Africa. Africa needs a World Cup. Thank you for joining us again on Leading Edge with Scent at Roundly Podcast Studios. And again, guys, please don't forget to subscribe. I think it's usually somewhere on this side. So please subscribe to the show, and to the brands that want to come on board. Open. Please pull through. Let's work together. Let's grow this community. Let's grow cricket in Africa. Till next time. Thanks for tuning into the Leading Edge with Scent, the Pulse of Cricket podcast, proudly produced by Roundly Podcast Studio in partnership to bring you the stories and the voices of cricket. Until next time, stay on the leading edge of the game.